This is the second part of the screencast on submitting your first formative assignment for peer and self-assessment for the subject pedagogy module. Okay, so just like you did before, you're going to go to the module where you submitted it and the section, so under assignments, and where you submitted your assignments under review and complete assessment, where it was previously was the questions where you could submit, now it's evaluations, and the first one will be your own, and then you'll be anonymously assigned two of your peers to peer assess. So you click on the first assignment to assess. It doesn't matter which order you do it in. And this one has been pasted straight into the text box. If you want a bit of a reminder what the question is about, click on the model response. It's got a little bit of an explanation. And for the first question, what's your personal vision? There are two criteria, and the first criteria is word count, and because it's been pasted into the box, it'll count the words for us. So we can see word count guide is 200, the actual word count is 203, so that's within 10%, so we can give that a full 2 points for that criteria. The next criteria is looking at the communication, so how effectively it has been communicated and presented, 10 for highly effective, and 1 for ineffective or unclear, and this is where you need to make some form of honest judgment in terms of the content of the response. Now for this we're asking you to put some formative feedback in there, as well as putting the point score, that's the 10 took down to 1. And for the feedback, I'd suggest that you use the 2 stars and a wish self and peer assessment tool, so 2 positive aspects of what you've read, and 1 area that could be developed further, so one wish. So rather than looking at a negative, you're looking at something that could be improved in the piece of work. So I'm just going to type something in here. So this is where you put your 2 stars and a wish, and then save into next question. Automatically takes me to question 2. Okay, model response there again. And this has been attached as a file. So we've got a document here, so we click on that, it'll open in Microsoft Word. Click open. There we go, and then we can read through in Word. So at the bottom here, we'll see it's 590 words. Now I'm just going to select the text here because we don't include the references, and we can see here the word count here is 509, so that's well within tolerances. So in this we're looking for not only clarity, but we're looking for use of literature, we're looking for correct use of Harvard conventions. So we've got a Harvard convention there for a quote, which is using the page number, and throughout the text we've got referencing, and then we've got Harvard referencing at the end. So this is what we're looking for when we're talking about referencing, but we're also looking at the clarity of what's being written. And this is looking at the role of the subject. So this is where we come into the criteria. We've got 4 criteria for this one. Word count, we said was within tolerance, so that's 2. Next one, we're looking at a wide range of appropriate reading used. Now there's 2 aspects to look at this. One is the number of references that were used. So the lower references, if it's 1, 2 references, then you might be looking at the ineffective end of the scale. If we're looking at 4, 5, 6, you might be looking at the high end of the scale. However, if the response is using a limited range of sources, so for example using a lot of websites, then that shouldn't be scored as highly. What we're looking for to get a 5 for this would be a range of different sources, including books, journals, etc. So again, same as before, we put in some formative feedback there under 2 stars and a wish, and then we can give an indication on this about how effective that's been. So on to criteria 3, and that's looking at the critical analysis, so how well they've looked at key issues. So have they identified key issues as far as you're aware of within the subject? So you might reflect back to some of the sessions you've had in your roots in induction, and then make a judgment about whether it's highly effective or whether it's ineffective. And again, we're putting feedback on the 2 stars and a wish. and then giving that, making that judgment. Okay, and the final criteria is have they used Harvard conventions correctly? And this is where you're going to need to possibly refresh your memory on Harvard referencing. So you could go to the John Moore's guide on Harvard referencing, which is linked within Blackboard, or you could search, and one of the useful websites to look for is the Anglia-Ruskin University guide to Harvard referencing, which is all online. So again, 2 stars in the wish feedback, and we're allocating there, have they used appropriate referencing formats from what you can tell from the guides. So we can put a feedback in there and make the judgment, is it appropriate conventions or not? So it's a yes or no. Okay, save and submit. There we go, and then we get completed, and we get a little score there indicating how you've rated it. And then you can repeat that process for your peers twice. And it's as simple as that.